We are we are recording.
All right. Sound check. All right, we good?
Yeah, you're both in it. You both have like that much on either side empty.
Okay.
You have like that much over your head. You have a bunch.
Sure. Yeah, that's fine.
Yes.
All right, here we go.
I can't really see your hands if the rest
That's
of
fine.
them. So.
Hello, welcome back to Twilight of the Gods. Today, me and Chris Morgan,
Hey
our
guys.
other designer, we are going to be talking about our game that we just played last week, where I played as Sovenar and Chris played as Shennong.
Yeah, I played a Shennong.
Yeah, so we're gonna go take a look back at that and kind of pick out what we thought were some key points during the game. I'll start it off because as the red aggression player, I felt I really wanted to be aggressive with my deck, and it really turned out that way because I kind of had the great first draw hand of a sand dune into a nomad camp. And that really allowed me to establish some early pressure on Chris, like very, very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, he was able to do a lot of pressure on me, and I really wanted to sacrifice against it, but I just couldn't. I couldn't afford it. The tempo swing of doing that was it was too much. And I thought that I could eventually stop all those little card shenanigans, all those nomad tokens, and I had a particular card to do it. And I'll explain to you guys later what card that was.
Yeah, so that was kind of my early goal with the deck, was to get that early pressure out on the field, start putting tempo against my opponent, and then sort of snowball from there. Try to get bigger and bigger creatures out, keep doing more and more damage, because the problem with red is you don't really have a lot of restore mechanics, so you really have to burn your opponent down quickly. Whereas brown has lots of restore mechanics, which if you've watched the video, I'm sure you saw. I played a turn 4 Total War, hit Chris for 12 damage, and then he restored pretty much all of it.
A huge chunk. I mean, I had Tilt the Soil, and one of the things was I traded a Regenerate, and using that Till the Soil and I knew the Regenerate was there. I was able to manifest it. I was able to get back a ton of restore. I think Till the Soil itself gave me 2, and then 2 for Conviction, and then I got 3 more. So basically, that massive card, that 12 damage he did, he only really did 5. And in a deck like brown, especially with Shennong, when I packed my deck full of restore. It didn't matter, right? I was like, okay, I'll just take 5, big deal.
Yeah, and then I took 2 myself from playing Total War. So like I only netted 3, and I don't have nearly as many restore effects as you do. So
exactly. And over the course of the game, I mean, those cards went back to my deck anyways.
Yeah. So yeah, that was at the point during the game where I was kind of like, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do enough damage. Fortunately, though, I was able to keep shoving nomads out on the field, and that was actually something I was really surprised about, was that you didn't sack to blow up the sand dune around like turn 4 or turn 5.
So here's the thing, guys. One of the things, if you watch the whole video, is I really wanted to get an Unhinged Alchemist. I had 3 of them in my deck because I tooled my deck out, and I had 3 of them. And I could not get a single one. Now, Unhinged Alchemist allows me to exhaust the card and allows me to do, I think, 3 damage to all creatures on the field.
Yeah, you destroy it.
So, yeah, I exhaust it, destroy it, and I do 3 damage. And it would have, just all those nomads would have gone away. And all of a sudden, like, I wouldn't have so much pressure on me, right? And I wasn't worried about taking that early game pressure from the nomads because I knew I had those. But I never drew it.
Yeah.
I was able to stall a little bit. I had a little combination utilizing my Palace Sphinx. I was able to manifest it in order to give me some defense, right? But that wasn't enough to stall it, right? It wasn't enough. I really needed an Unhinged Alchemist, and I never got it.
Yeah. Well, when you manifested the Palace Sphinx, that really took me unaware, because I was like, I'm expecting to swing in with my nomads, clear some stuff out from your discard stack and get some of those heals out of the game.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm going to manifest a tier 3 and it's a Palace Sphinx, and now not only am I getting a blocker, it's a blocker that also restores when it blocks.
And that's why Total War, Double Agent was so good,
Right.
right? Double Agent restored, I got the Palace Sphinx restored, and it also made it so that when you were trying to declare an attack against my discard stack,
right.
I restored like all the
right, yeah, you're like, whatever.
I don't care,
yeah, I don't care.
So it didn't matter. Right?
Yeah, hit my empty discard stack.
And I had that big defender, but I can go back to the fact that he just relentlessly got those creatures out there, and I should have sacked out earlier to stop it, but I kept hedging my bet. You can't hedge your bet all the time, because that started to push me, especially later in the game.
Yeah. So and then once you got out the Sanctuary Worm and the Golem Brigade, that was where I was a little concerned, because I was like, okay, he's starting to get big creatures out. He's able to fix his resources to utilize both tier 1s and tier 2s as each other, which really helps in getting out lots of cards.
Well, I mean, that's why Sanctuary Worm's so good. Sanctuary Worm gave me that. And if you saw me, guys, I was exhausting tier 2s and counting them as tier 1s. Well, that's why Sanctuary Worm's so good.
Especially with the Golem Brigade.
Yes.
You're just like, I have all the armor in the world.
I was able to, give him a lot of armor, and I was able to do stealth attacks and using that mining tome.
Yeah, so fortunately for me, though, I ended up getting Attila out on the field.
Yeah.
And then being able to disintegrate twice in the span of about 10 seconds really went a long way towards reestablishing my presence on the board.
Yep.
And yeah, that's one of the reasons why Attila is an epic card. So, when you look at Attila, you're like, oh, cool, he's a 5/5 creature with overrun. Like, he's a beefy creature, but really his value comes from the fact that you can play multiple schemes at once. And it can do so much. It can throw your opponent's game plan off, because they're expecting the first disintegrate. They're not really expecting the second one.
I did not expect that, and that's what cost me big time, because I attacked his discard stack removing cards thinking, oh, no big deal. He casted that disintegrate against me, and I was like, oh, man.
Yeah,
you
can just see it happening, too.
And I was already struggling as it is just to keep my big stuff on the field against all his nomads, but when he was able to clear away my creatures like that, I was like, oh, this is starting to real bad.
Yeah. So yeah, and then after that, for the way my deck was set up, it was just I had tempo, I had pressure, and I just needed to keep applying it, which I was able to do. I mean, I was able to drop 2 Legions of the Burning Fist, which just 5/5 beater creatures. You keep sending them in, you keep swinging to face for damage, and it was enough barely to win me the game,
yes.
But only because you whiffed on a manifest.
I did. So I had a manifest from Earthspring Rites, all right? And one of the cards I traded him face down was a Divine Resurrection. What I forgot, though, was I forgot that he took one of his own cards when I revealed my Palace Sphinx from his life stack, one of his tier 3s, and put it in there. So instead of getting that Divine Resurrection, I forgot about that. I instead flipped over
the Wild Hunt.
His Wild Hunt.
Yeah, which did nothing.
It did nothing. And, it came down to the game where I needed that extra life that I would have gained from the Divine Resurrection. If I had gained that life, I would have withstood that one massive assault he inflicted on me and swung in with
Belisarius.
With Belisarius.
Yeah. And that's
one manifest.
And that's the thing, is that like almost all the games we play come down to that last one single turn. It's either I'm going to win on this turn or my opponent's going to win on the next turn. Because if I hadn't killed you on that turn, Belisarius was just going to come in. He's got stealth. He's like, oh, boop, you're dead.
And it defines the decks, right? Because I mean, this deck he was playing had all these creatures, all this damage, but his lack of general restore and the damage he was dealing himself every turn with the wildfires, it was just relentless. And it came down to, even though I wasn't swinging too much, so much self-damage he inflicted, so much draw, I was able to restore so much that I was able to keep up with it. And it came down literally to a 1-card swing at one manifest, which is what cost the game.
Yeah, so, that's why we play the game, because every time you have no idea how it's going to turn out. I mean, we've been playing this for quite a while now, and it's always fun. Yeah. So, well, thank you everyone for tuning in, for watching. Hopefully you've got some ideas on how to build your own decks, how to play your own decks, and until next time, we are Twilight of the Gods, and we will see you later.
See you guys.